As we watch the illegal immigrant or migrant crisis unfold in cities across the country, we see the mayor of New York warning the crisis will bankrupt the city. We see shelters being overrun, hotels being used as housing. We see schools and recreational buildings repurposed for housing. We see tent cities being put up. And more migrants or illegal immigrants continue to arrive each day. And as a renter, you've got to be wondering, where will all these people eventually find permanent housing? Shelters aren't permanent housing. Cities can't continue to pay for hotel rooms forever. Schools and recreational facilities will need to return to their original intended uses eventually. And the answer is very likely that they will be competing with you in the rental market for rooms, apartments, trailers, condos, and houses. This is Renter Confidential. In order to have a functioning society, there's a formula. For every 100,000 people, you need X police officers, X amount of firefighters, X amount of grocery stores, and yes, X amount of housing. Having these services in the right proportion helps to ensure an orderly and functional society. However, things start to go awry when the equation is out of whack. Personally, I have no idea how much of each ingredient we need for the recipe of having an orderly and functional society. But from the perspective of housing, it seems we were already a bit out of whack before the recent immigration crisis. Complaints of sky-high rents and lack of availability were featured in the press for years, but the potential rental demand created by the addition of millions of new people threatens to drive the equation even further from any kind of functional or orderly equilibrium. So how many millions are we talking about? With some estimates as low as 3.3 million and others as high as nearly 10 million, it can be quite frustrating to get an accurate answer. The estimate on the low end equates to a city larger than Chicago, or 2 Philadelphias. On the high end, we're talking about an extra New York City. This is an incredible number of people to have just show up on your doorstep. Have we been busy building an extra New York, Chicago, or Philadelphia in preparation for these 3 to 10 million new guests? In short, the answer is a resounding no. From January of 2021 until February of 2024, 4.4 million homes have been built, according to the St. Louis Federal Reserve. That includes every single type of housing unit built during that period, from single family to multifamily and everything in between. This comes to an average of 1.46 million new homes per year, which sounds like a lot, except according to Freddie Mac, the U.S. went into 2021 with a housing deficit, meaning that nationwide we already didn't have enough housing. And how much housing did they estimate we were missing? Oh, just a whopping 2.5 million housing units as of 2020 when COVID began. But that deficit grew to 3.5 million in 2022. That new job you've been looking for finally came through. So you're taking on a new adventure in a brand new city, which all means one thing: packing and the stress it brings. But you can drop all that stress for free with Apartment Search Secrets. With this short ebook at your side, you'll know your value as a renter. You'll know what the internet can't tell you. You'll see landlord problems coming a mile away. And you'll get the best perspective on your rental search. Visit rentalsecrets.net for your free copy today. It's estimated that we need to build at least 1.7 million homes each year for the next 8 years to get back to even. And keep in mind that we continue to lose homes every year to fire, flood, mold, and natural disasters as well. Rental season occurs every year like clockwork and lasts from late spring to early fall. 4 to 5 million college students graduate and begin their search for rental homes to call their own. And on top of that, 3 to 4 million families take the opportunity to move in search of new school districts. This movement of these 9 million households tends to push the asking rents during rental season up as high as 7%, depending on what apartment you're looking for and what city you're in. Now back to our 3.3 to 10 million new friends. There have been suggestions that some Americans may choose to host some of these folks in their homes. I have no doubt that there will be a few who do. But that option will prove limited as there's no real way to perform any type of vetting or background checks on those you may be considering sharing your home with. It's very likely these new guests will be coming to rent in a neighborhood near you, especially if you live in an urban area. As long as cities and states continue to fund hotel stays in tent cities with your tax dollars, they are delaying the elevated demand the migrants or illegal immigrants will cause in the rental market. But as we all know, it takes time to build a house, especially in urban areas with lots of red tape and permitting hoops to jump through. As we've seen, it takes a year to build 1.4 million homes, and it seems like we'll need many more than that. Hopefully, we're closer to the 3.3 million number than we are to the 10 million number because the effect on rental demand will be proportional to the number of new people we've welcomed into the country. And that's just the potential effect this may have on rents. Of course, other ripple effects will become evident as well. The availability of suitable properties will likely be negatively impacted. Landlords will face challenges in screening tenants effectively, including verifying identity and employment status. This may result in landlords tightening their overall requirements for their properties, making them harder to qualify for. And local resources for public services, such as schools and healthcare facilities, will be strained, impacting the overall community. As we saw in our earlier episode related to the Trump fraud trial in New York, government policies and actions intended for one purpose may result in unintended real-world consequences that can be detrimental to you, the renter. This is true regardless of the optics or politics involved. Regardless of where you fall on the immigration question, the details of who these policies apply to, where these migrants choose to go, and how these policies are implemented are extremely important for all of us. Thanks for watching Renter Confidential. Happy apartment hunting. And remember, when it comes to renting, insider information is the best roommate you can ever have.